Not hype. True. Ignorance on fire, I'd rather learn than pretend. Childlike faith, I believe before it makes sense. If you're gonna be a copycat, copy the right cast. Not opinions from people who never left the map. Doesn't matter if you went to jail or Yale. Paint on disqualify you, it prepares you to prevail. I see people quit with talent, I seen dogs with no degree. I work geniuses daily just by choosing belief. They told you play it safe, keep your head down low, but safety never built a life worth knowing. Pressure makes diamonds, comfort makes excuses. I don't listen to fear, I use it. If you're breathing, you're not done. If you're tired, rest, don't quit. This is your reminder. Do more, have more, become more. Hey, hey. This is your reminder. Do more, have more, become more, have more, become more. Hey, hey. This is your motivation. This is your motivation. Stop waiting on permission from people who never move. Stop asking for approval from people who never choose. You don't need confidence, you need discipline. Confidence shows up after you stay consistent. They'll call it luck when they didn't see the nights, didn't see the doubt, didn't see the fight. They only see the proof, never the roots, never the seasons where you had to choose. I don't care where you started, I care where you aim. I don't care who left you, I care who you became. Every loss was training, every scar was proof. You weren't built to survive, you were built to produce. Do more. Yeah, this is your reminder. Do more, have more, become more, have more, become more. Hey, hey, this is your reminder. Do more, have more, become more, have more, become more. Hey, hey, this is your motivation. Yeah, this is your motivation. Yeah, this is your motivation. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your habits. Fix the habits, the rest follows. Do more, have more, become more, be more. Yeah, this is your motivation. Do more, have more, become more. Hey, hey, built for pressure. Hey, built for growth. Hey, built for more. This isn't a phase. This is a standard. Yeah, live like it. Feelings like
All right, guys. We are going to kick this call off. If my co-host, I'm going to make a couple more people co-host. Peyton, can you raise your hand? Okay, awesome. Your co-host, guys. If you can, just make sure that we get people muted if they unmute. And yeah, awesome, guys. Well, I'm extremely excited to pop this call off. First and foremost, guys, I just want to welcome everybody on the call. If you guys are new to trading, if you're new to the community, please drop some ones in the chat. And then right after this call, guys, I want you to reach out to the person that invited you and thank them for putting you in this opportunity. Guys, I had somebody a long time ago that introduced me just like this to a call that actually positioned me to completely transform my life. And so if somebody invited you to this call, obviously they did, they actually care about you, right? And so, guys, I want to go over some things tonight. Obviously, this is an orientation call. We will have a call right after this too. So make sure your calendar is cleared for a little bit because we'll dive right into a basics trading session right after this. But yeah, so I've got some notes here on things that I want to touch on. First and foremost, guys, I want to touch on why this boot camp exists, right? Because one thing that I realized, especially, and I always love giving gym analogies and stuff, when I was getting into fitness, it was way cooler for me to have a friend to go to the gym with, right? Drop some ones in the chat if you guys work out and how much better it is to go to the gym with an accountability partner where you guys can push each other, right? And so most people fail in trading because they start alone, right? They get lost in the sauce. They're in YouTube University and Google as their educator, right? And that's just not the way that people can come into this and actually truly make money. Um, Guys, we're about to max capacity this Zoom. It is being recorded. I'm not going to stop the Zoom and try to upgrade. So if you got people trying to get on and they say they can't, just let them know that this is being recorded and they can watch the recording. I'll post it right after. But yeah, so most people fail in trading, guys, because like they start alone. And I was somebody at a point in my life that I was super, I was struggling. I was a ninth grade dropout. I was a cable guy for a freaking job. And I had a newborn daughter on the way. And something that truly helped me become profitable in the markets and truly understand was I joined a community. And so because someone invited you to this call, that means that they care about you, but they're also looking for somebody that they already relate with, somebody that wants more, to do more, have more, and become more. And putting your guys' self together is going to truly help you excel. And so, internet, obviously, guys, I already touched on it, like with YouTube University and things like that, but the internet gives too much conflicting info, right? You'll get on there and you'll find like when my boy Preston, his team's called No More Fake Gurus. You'll find a fake guru on there telling you, oh, buy this strategy, do that, do this, and then turn around and you'll Google it. And then you'll be like, you'll read a bunch of reviews on how that strategy sucks. And you fall victim to the rabbit hole of trying to figure it out. And it becomes overwhelming because you don't really have a structured environment teaching you to go from this point to this point and taking the steps to get you to becoming a profitable trader. And so most people, because of that, learn trading backwards. There's no structure, which equals frustration. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, to become a profitable trader, it's not a bunch of technical analysis. What it truly is it's up here. It's your mindset. With trading, guys, it's 98% mindset, 2% learning technical analysis. And those are things that we're going to go over this week is we're going to go over the technical analysis of things, of hitting the buy button, hitting the sell button, things like that. We're going to go over what trading is, platforms to utilize and such. But most importantly, you guys are in a community setting where you're going to be focused on mindset. And I think being in and around people that want more, to do more, to have more, and become more, that's the place to be. I had an old mentor of mine tell me that if I surrounded myself with five alcoholics, I'd probably be one. If I surrounded myself with five successful people, I would probably be the sixth, right? And so I think it's super important to put ourselves in a position of other people around us wanting to win. So again, welcome on into the community, guys. And I'm going to jump right into what trading is. Okay. So, trading, guys, if you don't already know and you haven't seen movies like Wolf of Wall Street and you don't know who Warren Buffett is, guys, trading is the act of buying or selling. And depending on which way the market's going, if you're hitting the buy button and the market's going up, well, you're going to make money. If you hit the sell button and the market's going to go down, you're going to make money. You do the opposite, you're going to lose money. So trading is risky. I do want to put a disclaimer out there, guys. Past profits don't guarantee future results. There's no promise to return. This is not a get rich quick scheme. I'm not here to tell you all that you'll be millionaires tomorrow because you took my free boot camp. That's not how this works. And none of you will probably be millionaires unless you're already a millionaire at the end of this week. But will you have an understanding of what trading is? Absolutely. Um, so things that like stop people from trading, and I was actually victim to one of these two, guys, and I'm just going to go into a little bit of my story here so you guys can know. But two of the things, most common concerns that people have is time and money when it comes into trading. Guys, like I already said, I was a ninth grade dropout. I was a cable guy, and I was 27 when I first found trading. And I always like to tell this story because to hit on the point of time, guys, I was a lineman for a cable company. I was working 90 plus hours a week, and I had just found out that I was having a daughter. I grew up from fatherless to then becoming a father. There was all these fears in my mind of like, I don't even know how to be a dad. I don't have any successful relationships in my life when it comes to marriage. I don't have any successful relationships in my life when it comes to mentors as father figures and stuff like that. So I was scared to even know what it was like to be a dad. But I knew one thing, and it was the one thing that I wanted the most, that I wanted as a child, and it was my freaking dad to be present. And the fact that I didn't want my mom to work two or three jobs because I wanted my parents around. And so the first thing that went through my mind of how I'm going to be a successful dad is I needed to be present. Well, when I was looking at my current situation and I was working 90 plus hours a week and I was traveling from Indiana to Michigan to Chicago, Illinois, Ohio, things like that, I was always on the road, and I knew right then and there that there was no way for me to be a dad and be present in my daughter's life, especially with the amount of stress that I was putting on my life, unless I figured something out. So I bet on me. And I don't know if it was the universe or God or the doorknob, no matter what you believe in, there was something out there that was seeing that I needed to do something. And so I was taking action on every door that opened up in my life. And believe it or not, guys, I get this job. It's out in Michigan, and I drive out to Michigan, and there's a guy, and this hit me on the head, right? Because when I thought of trading, I didn't know what trading was. I had a 401k, and I knew somebody managed my money, and I didn't really make a lot of money from that 401k, but that's what trading was to me. And I thought suit and tie, staring, looking up at monitors, screaming, go up, go up, go up in a freaking Wall Street office. I thought that's what trading was. And I arrive on this cable job early in the morning. I get there, it's like 5:30 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning. And the gentleman, he comes out and he was like, when are you going to get me back up? And I'm talking, this guy's 6'4", he's bald, covered in tattoos, beard hanging down to his chest. And he tells me, he was like, I need to get my internet back on. And I was like, well, buddy, that's what we're here for. We got to get the power lines up and stuff. And I was like, but what's so important? You missing Netflix, just cracking a joke or something like that. And he tells me, he's like, no, I trade. He's like, that's how I feed my family. He's like, I'm a retired vet. I suffered post-traumatic brain injury. And he was like, I can no longer have an actual job. So I got into trading in the foreign exchange markets. And that just blew me away because I'm like, you're a trader, not to judge a book by a cover or anything, but I don't see you in a suit and tie. And you definitely don't live in New York next to Wall Street. We're in Michigan. I didn't even know that they had trading hubs out here. And he was like, add me on social media. So I added him on social media, guys, and this is right at the start of me learning like that my daughter was on her way, and I watched this gentleman for a couple weeks, almost a couple months on Facebook, and I watched him posting out testimonials, and I watched him, posting other people's results in the lives that he was changing, and he wasn't really bragging on his, and I knew that he was a real person because I had met him. So I reached out to him and I was like, dude, tell me what this trading thing is. And I get on this call with him and I tell him, I'm like, I just start hitting him with all these excuses, bro. I don't think I have time to learn this. I'm a ninth grade dropout. Like I didn't even pass pre-algebra. I'm not really good at math. And he's like, whoa, 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 hold on. He's like, you look a little buff. So you probably go to the gym. And he was like, so you're consistent at something in your life. And I was like, right. And he was like, dude, this is something that if you can just show up 30 to 45 minutes a day consistently for like 90 days, this is something that you can be profitable on. And he was like, but let me show you. He pulled up his charts, and I remember cracking this joke. I was like, that looks like a heartbeat monitor. And he was like, dude, we can even make money if this thing flatlines. He was like, let me show you how. And he pulled up an asset called US 30. It goes by the Dow Jones. It's an index. It's a index built up of 30 different stocks, the most high performing stocks, if you guys don't know what that is. And he pulls this asset up and he puts a couple little lines on the chart. He's like, I'm gonna buy. He clicks buy and he lowers his screen, and we talk for about 5 to 15 minutes, um, just about like the consistency in the gym. And he like hits me with all these little things of like how I shouldn't have these excuses, because he also told me, he's like, you have this why. And he was like, you don't want to start her life out blaming the reason why you can't be successful, when what you want is to be successful so you can be present in her life. And he was like, so you can't use her as an excuse that you're about to have a newborn and that you work 90 hours a week. You have to figure this out. So then he opens up his chart, and this trade is $302 in profit. Now, past profits don't guarantee future results, but $302 in profit. And I was like, holy crap, dude, I've been on this call with you for like 15 minutes. I was like, is that real money? He closes the trade. At this time, guys, this is 2017. I don't even think we were on a Zoom. I think we were on like a Windows meeting or something like that. We didn't have high tech apps and stuff like that. I think Cash App was just coming out around then. Um, but we did have PayPal. And so he goes to what he calls his brokerage account. And he's like, this is like my trading bank account. And he goes to this brokerage account, and I see that there's the $302 that he just made. And he was like, I'm going to make a withdrawal. So he makes a withdrawal. And he tells me we're going to chat back and forth for about 15 minutes, and I'll show you that this is real money. And I was like, cool. So we continue to chat, just going over like what it's going to take and things like that, and the consistency that I needed to put in, the 30 to 45 minutes a day. I needed to find time. He explains to me that we trade in the foreign exchange market. And I was like, what's that? What's the foreign exchange market? So I'll break that down for you guys. What the foreign exchange market is you have the stock market, you have the foreign exchange market, and you have the cryptocurrency market. The stock market, it limits people from being able to trade actively because most people have a 9 to 5. And if you're working an actual 9 to 5, you are going to miss out on being able to trade in the stock exchange market because that market opens between 9:30 a.m. and 12 in the afternoon. And you have to put your orders in before then. So he tells me, he was like, I trade in the foreign exchange market because it is the global market. Now, mind you, the stock market does about $44 billion a day in revenue in and out of that market. Okay. And I don't know if you guys understand liquidity or not, but that's a lot of money. But the foreign exchange market, what it is it is a market built up globally off of every existing stock market. So you've got Asia, you've got New York, you've got London, you've got Australia, you've got New Zealand, you've got these major markets that also have stock exchanges. Well, these countries trade back and forth between each other. So these markets have to stay open. So the foreign exchange market stays open 23 hours a day, 5 days a week. And it puts us in the ability to, it doesn't matter if I work a 9 to 5, if I'm off at 7 p.m. in the evening, Eastern Standard Time, that's 7 a.m. Asia time. I can trade Asia session. If I'm a third shift employee or a second shift employee and I'm up throughout the night, I can trade in London. And it gives us access to trade in that market. The really cool part about that is you heard me say $44 billion in the stock exchange market. The 3 years ago, it was only doing $77 trillion a day in the foreign exchange market. It is now over $9 trillion a day that goes in and out of the foreign exchange market. So what's that mean for us? It means that at one, I can trade it 23 hours a day, 5 days a week, but I can also come in with lower amount of money and have access to a higher liquidity amount, which gives me and puts me in a position to make a little bit more money. Drop some ones in the chat if you guys are following. So he explains this to me, and while we're on this call, he gets a notification. He pulls his PayPal up, and after PayPal had took its little fees, because PayPal likes to do that, he had $298 in his PayPal wallet. And in my mind just exploded. I was like, holy crap. I just said I was a ninth grade dropout and I'm not that good at math, but I did the math and I was like, if even if I could just make $500 a day or $250 a day, that's going to be almost $10,000 a month. That's a lot of money. Even if I had to pay a little bit of tax on that, that was enough money for me to do what I wanted to do in life. So I was like, how
You're not
and
going to pay
when
a little bit of
do I?
tax. You're going to pay 40.
Anyways, can you please not unmute and things like that? Thank you so much. So, I'm like, okay, cool. So how do I get started? So he tells me, he's like, dude, he was like, I can do a mentorship. It's like, that's what we do. I can put you into a private community. I do live calls. I educate people on the charts and stuff like that. So that's what I took part in. Now, guys, I was limited on time, right? I told you I was already working 90 hours a day, or day, you can't do that, a week, right? But when I was getting up at like 3:30 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning. I was hitting the road and I wasn't back until like 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. I would hit the gym, but I would be free and available around 7 p.m. my time. And I was living in Indiana at the time. And so I could only give myself 30 to 45 minutes a day as it was because bedtime had to come quick because of the amount of hours I was working. And so I got in. This was 2017. Now, again, like I said, this was not something that put me in a position to be a millionaire overnight, but in 2019, December 13th, you guys can check it. There's a video of me walking into my job and being able to quit my job because I said yes to an opportunity like this. So that's my story, but I don't tell my story to tell my story. I tell my story to let people know conviction wise that I didn't have a lot of time. I wasn't the smartest guy in the room. I didn't know a lot of people, but I had something that was so big that there was no reason why I would fail because I would never give up on what I wanted. And that was truly to just be a present father. And I was able to make that happen at when my daughter was a year and a half age. I wish I could have done it sooner, but I think it did it right because that's when she was walking and talking and we were going to the parks. And, it put me in a position to be what I wanted in life, which was a present father. So the confusion phase, guys, like there's going to be confusion. And I want to talk about this just a little bit because it's something new when it comes to trading. Obviously, I don't know what age group you're in, but you're probably over the age of 18 and you get frustrated when Netflix don't work and you get frustrated when your Facebook ain't loading and you get frustrated when there's traffic in front of you. But when it's something new, we tend to overcomplicate things because we think that we should just figure it out quickly, and that's not something that's going to happen, right? So there's going to be confusion when you're downloading and you're logging into a broker and you're creating a demo account. There's going to be confusion on how to set a stop loss and how to set a take profit, and there's going to be confusion on finding which asset you're trading and things like that. So be prepared to be a little bit confused. That's okay, but more importantly, be okay with asking questions. I had a mentor a long time ago tell me that if I wanted this to happen, I had to get really comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's key. That's important here. So you guys, though, you're not going to have to try to figure this out alone, but that's why we've put this group together. That's why we have this group setting. That's why we're going to provide you guys calls from different educators. I'm not going to be doing the education calls. We've got paid educators that are going to come in, documented 6, 7, and 8 figure traders that do this on a daily basis. That's going to be taking trades and things like that with you. There's going to be learning calls. There's going to be just make money calls. There's going to be groups to where you can copy and paste signals. You guys, obviously, you're in the WhatsApp or you wouldn't be on this call. So there's going to be a place for you to also ask questions. So make sure you guys are asking questions. So kind of what this looks like, guys, I'm going to talk about the ecosystem and then I want to bring up a couple testimonials. So the ecosystem and what we've got planned for you guys is essentially tonight, right after this call, there's going to be a Sunday session. Now, the market's just opened and you have the ability to trade. But what we do every Sunday as a community already, and something that we've been doing for years and years now, is every Sunday we do a market outlook. My buddy, my business partner, my best friend, Preston Gomez, he's an educator for our platform. And every Sunday night, he does a market overlook. And this market overlook is a very basic, slowed down call where he just goes over what US 30 is doing, what gold's doing, what the market's going on right now. We have the war in Iran and things like that that's happening. And that's causing influx in the market. And so he's going to go over the charts. He's going to talk about these things. And you guys aren't going to know anything. So understand that you're not going to know anything, but this is a really good place to start of just looking at the charts. Then come tomorrow, what's going to happen, and I think it will actually be Peyton that does this onboarding session for us. So thank you, Peyton. But tomorrow, on Monday, what we're going to do is an onboarding call, right? And that onboarding call is, and guys, I want to say, like, if you're somebody that invited people to the call, or if you're somebody that's been invited to this call, you're going to want to reach out to the person that invited you to this call, and you're going to want to ask them for a link to set up your demo account. Tomorrow, you guys are going to get on this call with Peyton and you guys are going to be able to set up your demo account. She's going to have you guys link it to what I like to call my debit card, right? You have a bank and you have a debit card. So you have a broker and then you have a trading platform that allows you to execute and spend the money. And so you're going to create this bank account. It's going to be with fake money, monopoly money, right? But it's going to put you in a position to learn. If you lose $1 million, you're not in debt. If you make $1 million, you're still not a millionaire because it is a demo account. But it's going to allow you to trade in the open markets, and she's going to help you guys get that connected. From that point, the real stuff starts on Tuesday. Tuesday morning, you're going to be able to get onto a live trading session again with Preston. And then also Tuesday evening, we got a get paid session. We're going to have 3 different educators going over 3 different markets, calling out trades and things like that. And you'll be in a bigger community environment where people are talking about this. So you'll have that. Wednesday, you guys are going to also have 2 more calls. You're going to have Preston's morning session, and then you're going to also have my boy Noel's session. He actually trades mainly in the Forex, so he trades what they call Forex pairs. He'll go over that. He's going to break down market structure, market analysis, and things like that. Will you guys probably still be confused? Yes. You will probably still be confused, but that's okay, right? We're just here to hold your hand and start baby stepping you into the position to become a potentially profitable trader if that's something that you want to do. Will you know how to trade at the end of this week? No. But will you know the simple basics, how to hit a buy button, how to hit a sell button, how to set a stop loss, how to set a take profit? Absolutely. If you guys show up, you pay attention, you guys ask questions, that's stuff that's going to be taught. So I want to talk about destroying common objections when it comes to like things that stop people from being profitable traders. Guys, truly trading is the less you do, the more you'll make. And I promise that. This is not something where you trade all day. Okay. Just because we have the ability to trade 23 hours a day, 5 days a week in the foreign exchange market, and the fact that the crypto market is open 24/7, that does not mean because I can look at a chart and take a trade that I should be taking trades all day, right? 1 to 2 trades, 30 to 45 minutes a day is the typical standard for somebody. So you don't want to overdo it. Why do we not want to overdo it? Let's go back to a gym analogy. If I'm 300 pounds and want a 6 pack, It doesn't matter if I go to the gym for 16 hours a day for 30 days, I'm probably still not going to have a six pack. I'm going to be exhausted. I'm going to overtrain. I'm probably going to get hurt. I'm not getting the proper nutrition and things like that. So I'm probably not going to end up with a six pack. But if I draw that back, when in doubt, zoom out, and I take that and I go, okay, let's go to the gym for 45 minutes a day for 90 days, and I do the proper things when it comes to the at home side of things where I'm sleeping right and I'm eating right and I'm resting my mind and things like that, I'm more than likely probably going to get the six pack. Okay. Guys, some of you guys are on this call and you're texting me. Please don't. I appreciate you, but please don't text me while you're on the call. I'm speaking. Um, so you got to put the gym in the face like that, like, so with the markets, like, you want to treat it the same way, kind of like consistency, and it's just showing up, and you're only spending the 30 to 45 minutes a day. When I was able to quit my job, that didn't mean I traded more. I kept the same plan every single day. So let's see here. So expectations, guys, when it comes to this, like, I just want to make sure that you guys try to show up as consistently as you possibly can. I understand, that some of you might work, some of you might be asleep, some of you might be on the other side of the world. That's why we're going to have two trading calls a day for most of the week. You don't have to be on both. If you have the access to be on both, be on both. But if you don't, only get on one, right? Just try to show up 30 to 45 minutes every single day throughout this week. So that way you can start building that plan. Like I said, make sure you guys ask questions. And also, guys, don't compare yourself, right? I think comparison kills so big. Like, there's a lot of the times, and it was early on in my stage when I seen this, because I was one confused, so I didn't even really know what I was looking at. But I would see people posting their results in this community that I was in, and I would see, people posting a couple $100, and then I would see people posting thousands of dollars. And it's like, holy crap, like, why is this guy posting thousands of dollars and this guy's only posting hundreds of dollars, but we all took the same trade? Well, that's capital, right? The capital that you have to start with. And it's also the amount of lot size that you use and the leverage that you use and things like that. And so what you don't want to do is look at anybody else's results, only yours. So let's not compare. Let's make sure that in this group that we're keeping it proper. We're not creating frustration and things like that in the group. Everything that we bring to this group should be positivity, right? I tell my daughter all the time, words are spells, and what we speak out into existence is what we're going to attract. And I'm a firm believer. And so make sure that we keep this community a positive vibe. We're asking questions, we're not complaining, right? I'm somebody that if you've got a situation, make sure you also are solution oriented and you're trying to figure that out. You're not just always coming with situations. If you got questions, come with a solution mindset, right? Don't just create situations and then don't try to figure them out, right? We have to have the solutions. And so when you're asking these questions, make sure you're receptive to the answer. So that way we can create a solution based experience for you. So that way we can help guide you down the road. Um, so by Friday, guys, like I said, you should understand the chart basics, the levels and things like that to look at, know how to place a trade, and a little bit of understanding risk. And you honestly should start to feel a little bit more confident. So understand that it's going to be a little confusing, like I said. Now, that's pretty much my spiel on that, guys. So what I want to do next is I want to bring up a couple people that have been trading with us for different amounts of times and things like that. And I just want them to kind of talk about their story, where they were in life, like what their why was, and what got them into trading, and now where they're at, now where they're at since they've been trading with us. So I'm looking through here. I have got an Ellie on the call. Ellie, if you can,
Hi.
awesome. Babe, can you unpin me and get Ellie pinned up? Guys, Ellie is a phenomenal person. She is a phenomenal human being. She's always out in the field, constantly working and changing lives when it comes to just her regular day job. So the fact that she was able to actually make time to be able to even trade, I think, is document in itself that it doesn't require a lot of time to be profitable as a trader. So I'm going to shut up. Enough from me. Ellie, if you can't unmute, turn your video on and just kind of give a little rundown of what your experience has been like.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach. Okay, I wrote everything out that I was going to say as if I don't even know my whole life. Like, I don't know why I made notes, but then I'm looking at my notes And so many things that coach just said, I was like, dang, the gym, the six pack, like my why. I was like, dang, those are all the things I was gonna say. But it just goes to show why we're here. So many of us are in similar situations and have similar stories and similar whys. And that's what makes our community just so unique. So to bring it back, because I'm going to bring it full circle here. So I have to start when I was younger. I grew up in Orange County, Huntington Beach. I lived a very comfortable life. My parents were divorced. I had two birthdays, two Christmases. It was fine. Everything was great. My dad was more of the caretaker. He fell off a building when I was younger and broke his neck. He was paralyzed from the neck down. He was actually declared dead, but then came back and now he lives with us. We actually take care of my dad. He walks, he helps take care of my kids. He's an absolute miracle. But with that, he took care of my sister and I while my mom worked, and she was a hustler. There was a point where my mom really just started to make it in her career, and then we started to have some of the finer things. We had the vacations, we had the nice clothes, and we had the great birthdays. So how my story starts and how I kind of got into trading was on my 16th birthday, my sweet 16. My sister's 7 years older than me, so she had a friend named Preston, and he was the performer at my 16th birthday playing Snake Bite, always double dipping. So I have known Preston for about 20 years. But fast forward after, my mom's doing great. The market, the housing market, everything kind of took a crash and we lost everything. We lost our home, we lost our animals. It was my senior year. It was hands down the hardest thing as a kid, and I was working since I was 14 years old. My mom gave birth to me, the hustler, and made a mini hustler. So, I was working at a burger shack at the beach. If you're from Huntington, TK Burger, everybody loves it. But I was a hustler and we lost everything. And I had to feel that at such a young age and had to grow up pretty quickly. But then my mom ended up, I think when I graduated, it was enough. She had enough. She was always working hard. And so she picked up and she moved to Hawaii. She was in Maui. I was 18 years old. I was making $7.25. I got a dog. I had just my car. I had nowhere to go. No one would get me an apartment because I didn't have credit. They're like, I'm not going to give this kid this 18-year-old house. So I had to move in with a boyfriend at the time. It wasn't a great relationship, but I had to figure it out because I had no other options. So I did that. I was working multiple jobs as me and my dog. And then, the relationship got a little bit worse. So my sister came and picked me up one day and she's like, you're moving in with me. And it was about 45 minutes away. And I was like, okay, did it. And I just kept my chin up and I was like, we're going to keep going. So I continued to work in Newport Beach and I was living 45 minutes away. I was about 20 years old, and that's where I met my now husband. Met him when I was 20, started dating when I was 21. We moved in together, and my husband comes from nothing. He probably had it harder than I did, for sure. I had some great memories and vacations and those good things. My husband didn't, and he's a very humble person because of it, but we really had to grind together. We were figuring it out, like we're kids in love. um and then I was turning 23 and I found out I was pregnant with our daughter Olivia, and that's when my whole life changed. I was my mom, we did not have a relationship. My sister kind of went down a bad path in life, and it was just me being pregnant. I had no female figure in my life. Like, coach, you needed a male figure. I was like, I need a mom. Um, but I figured it out. I did it, but we were barely making ends meet. And we brought in Olivia and she changed my whole world. I went from working three jobs to working one and going back to school. And I did it, and my husband, well, boyfriend at the time, was working, but it was hard on our relationship. I worked days, he worked nights. We were two ships passing in the night. And it was hard on our relationship to where we actually ended up breaking up. And I was a single mom. I was a single mom. I had to keep a roof over our head. I had to put food on the table and diapers, and I had no help. And it was hard. It was really hard. There was one night I was serving tables,
Yeah.
and I got called off of work because of the rain. It was outside, and I drove home. I put my last 20 bucks in the tank and I came home and I was hungry, and I pulled up to El Pollo Loco and I looked at my bank account and I couldn't even buy a taco. And I just sat there and I cried. And I knew that I had to change something. I knew this couldn't be it for me. Like I've been so driven. I've always known I'm going to be something one day. I'm going to be a CEO, or I'm going to be something. I have the grit, like I have thick skin. My mother's daughter, like failure's not an option. So that's when I made the first change as a single mom with a 1-year-old. And I moved into my career at Target, and I became executive human resources for Target, huge company, obviously. There was sacrifice. I thought I made it at this point. I was making a salary. I had a 401k. I was like, okay, I'm not serving tables anymore. But the sacrifice was my time. I was working 60 hours a week. I had to work every other weekend. I missed holidays. I missed milestones of my daughter, and that was eating at me. And my boyfriend at the time, which is now my husband, we were working on things, and then we found out I was pregnant with our son. So now I'm like, okay, 2 kids, we're back together, we're working on things. But this is now around COVID time. So the world's gone to shit. I'm a essential worker, so I'm on the front lines. But it was hard. And I was, if you guys haven't caught on in my grit and everything, I mean, when it comes to hard work, I was climbing ladders, filling drive up orders on September 30th, and I gave birth to my son on October 6th. So there's no stopping me. And when I found out about being pregnant, having 2 kids, the world going to shit, I was like, okay, we have to do something. We ended up moving to another beautiful spot in Orange County. I made another career change because I was missing so much now with my second baby, and this was my last baby. And I'm like, my children are everything, and I'm missing so much. So I took my career, and now I'm an area leader of recruiting with Raising Cane's. I absolutely love my job. I get to be home with my kids, but I also support 30 restaurants. So I have to give it out to the working moms. I know what it's like to be away from your kids. I know what it's like to miss out on the things, but I know not giving up, all of your hard work, because that was huge for me. I've always been a career woman, but also I give it up to the stay-at-home moms, because we never get a break. You never stop. You never stop working. I do both. I work from home. I'm hybrid. I'm in the field. I'm at home, but also I'm the coach for my son's baseball. I'm the room mom for both of their classrooms. I never miss a game. I never miss an event. I never miss anything for school. I do pickup, drop off, homework, bath time, dinner, playtime, you name it. I do everything. And that's because Canes allowed me to do that. So why trading? I have everything, right? I have everything I thought I wanted and I needed. I have my family, I have my kids, I work from home. I get to do both. I'm a career woman. I get to be the whole mom thing, but there's still more, right? I needed more. I want more. I'm a renter. I want to own a home. There's things that, I've always wanted more. I've opened up businesses, I've closed businesses. I had a bounce house business. I was out there hauling 200-pound bounce houses and throwing them up myself and cleaning them on the weekends because I wanted more. I'm going to do it. And I've been watching Preston, and I've seen his social media, and, we go back, and I'm like, okay, what's this trading thing? Did somebody hack his account? I'm like, we've all been there. We've all seen it. I'm like, oops, someone got hacked. But I messaged him, and my reason was, and he laughed at me. I was like, I just want to make enough money for a housekeeper, so I don't have to do it anymore, because that's time away from my kids. And I don't want to do it. I just don't want to clean my house anymore. I got enough on my plate. Take one thing off of my plate and please make it be my laundry. And he just laughed at me. And then I made my first trade. I think I put $500 into a cash account. And also keep in mind, guys, like I was Preston's very last private mentee. I paid $2,500 to do this. And that's a lot of money for me. I was like, just going off of trust and trusting Preston from 20 years ago and having faith and learning something new, and myself. But I paid $2,500 to learn a skill, and I knew nothing of a candle other than the one that's on my dining room table that I light for dinner. Okay. So I jumped in. I had no clue what I was doing. I was so confused. I was so frustrated. But my first week, I think I made $50 on a trade. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, okay, $50 a day times 5 days a week, times 4 weeks out of the month. Okay. How much till I get 300,000 till I buy a house? And then Preston laughed at me again. And I'm like, what is so funny? Like, why? Why is he laughing at me? And then I made my first $100 trade. And then I made my $285 cash account into $2,500. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it now. So the whole point of this is, what I want to share with you guys is, there's been times where times are tough, and when times get tough, I get tougher. And doors have closed, and I don't wait for them to open. I'm going to open them. And this is a time where I was looking for a path, and Preston showed me that path, but he's going to show you that path. All of these people on the call, anyone that invited you here, they're going to show you the path, but you have to walk it. Okay. And it's hard. It's hard. You're going to fall. You're going to be confused. You're going to get back up. You're going to be on a high. You're going to be like, hell yeah, this is great. Preston was like, here's the path. And I was like, fuck yeah. Here's my $2,500. And then I fell down and I was like, Preston, I don't know what I'm doing. Preston, this is hard. And he helped me get back up. But I continued to show up because I don't quit. And this is where my gym reference came, but coach kind of took it. I worked out 255 times last year. Okay. I had some days off. I was opening up restaurants. I didn't work out every day, but 255 times. If I expected a six pack on day one of hitting the gym, I would be crazy. I'm still working on my six pack, okay? After 255 times. But you know what I did see? I saw results. I saw results. So if you think you're going to be successful day one of trading, you're not going to be. The hardest part is showing up every day. I showed up, I got on every call, even when it was hard, even when I didn't understand, even when I wanted to close my laptop, even when I had to hit the road to go open a restaurant, even when my kids had to go to school, I still listened in. It was hard. I didn't get it. But then every day I showed up, I learned something new. I failed, I came back. I failed, I got up. I failed and came back again. That's how you are going to be successful. You have to show up for yourself. You have to keep wanting to learn. You have to take the challenges. You have to make all the questions. You have to keep going. If you can't hold yourself accountable, lock into your emotions because this is all emotional. This is all you. Markets go up and down. Okay. If you click the button, that's on you. So you have to really just look into yourself and hold yourself accountable and show up. And that's how you're going to be successful. So that's my story. I hope to see everybody on the calls. I hope I inspire you a little bit, because now I will tell you my goal was to book a housekeeper, right? That was my number one goal. I have them coming tomorrow. And that was off of my trade last week. I had a goal of being a published author one day, and I just published my first children's book last week. And that's all because I kept showing up for myself, for my family in the background. But when it got hard, I kept going. So you're here on day one. Keep going, keep showing up.
Wow, guys, can we get some fire emojis in the chat for Ellie? That was absolutely phenomenal. And her gym reference was so much better than mine. Thank you so much. I love that. It's Sunday. I was about to type preaching on Sunday, and I went to church this morning, and now I'm getting a Sunday afternoon session, right? I love it. I love it. So, guys, that's absolutely beautiful, Ellie. Thank you so much again. The next speaker I want to bring up, guys, is Kaylin. Kaylin, I got to watch her come in and absolutely just kill it. And this is where comparison can't you can't compare, guys. You can't compare. And the reason why you can't compare is not everybody is going to start off fast. Some people will start off slow, some people will start off fast. The person that actually brought Kaylin in took longer to succeed faster, and then Kaylin came in and just like was like, oh, I'm doing it, right? So Kaylin, if you can unmute, tell a little bit about your story, how long you've been with this community, and kind of what it's done for you as a trader, and a little bit about your why too. Let's see. Or did she just log off the call because I scared her? Did I scare you, Kaylin? There you are.
No, I'm here.
Okay, cool. I
All
appreciate
right.
you.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm Kaylin. So I'm gonna make this short and sweet. I don't have a big long speech tonight, but I'll just tell you kind of where I'm at and how I got here. So I'm a farm wife and a stay-at-home mom to two little boys, and my days are very loud and messy and full. And honestly, most days I struggle to fit in trading, but I still show up every day, and it's gotten me to where I am today. So when I first jumped into this opportunity, though, I had no knowledge, like zero, nothing, like knew nothing. I was always kind of interested in trading though, and I was curious, but I had no idea where to start or like who I could really trust because, there's lots of people out there talking about trading right now. So about 6 months ago, I came across a friend who was doing this and openly sharing her journey on Facebook. Um, I was hesitant, obviously. She bugged me for a little while to get going, and I finally jumped in and decided to learn. And I think what made the difference for me was that Akashics offers both sides of it. So, like, obviously, they offer us education to learn how to trade, but they also gave us like educators that gave us signals, and we could also start to earn money. So you can learn and earn at the same time and really be successful at it. You don't need to figure it out right now. You can kind of go with the flow. So then I guess, yeah, that was like about 6 months ago that I started. And fast forward to now, I've passed 5 challenge accounts. I've gotten 3 withdrawals. And I've gained like a lot of confidence in the market. I'm starting to feel confident and starting to see things finally. So, like one week, you guys are probably not going to see it, but maybe 6 months from now, you will, right? So yeah, I have been doing this all while juggling a busy farm life and a busy mom life. And yeah, so that's kind of my story. And yeah.
Wow, Kaylin, that is awesome. And thank you for just like, one thing too, like Kaylin actually the other day, guys, I messaged in the group and said, hey, I'm putting this boot camp on, right? And I need some help. I need some people to step up. Like I'll do it all by myself if you want, but I need some people to help. And Kaylin messaged me and she was like, I'll help, but I'm not doing a live call. And I was like, cool. So you'll do a testimonial on a live call. And she was like, sure, I guess. And I'm like, thank you so much. So Kaylin, I am absolutely proud of you for stepping out of your comfort zone. And I'm actually super proud of every single person on this call. But just stepping out of your comfort zone, the ones that have their cameras on, the ones that are talking in the chats, the ones that are, even just here right now. Like be proud of you. Give yourself a pat on the back because I know there's something in life, we have all these excuses externally, but at one point in time, you have to look inside and be like, what inside of me is holding me back? Not the excuse in front of me, not what's externally out here. What inside of me is stopping me? And you guys already took the initiative to fill out a form, hop in a WhatsApp with a bunch of people you didn't know, to get on a call with a bunch of people that you didn't know. So proud of you guys, proud of you, Kaylin. Guys, drop some fire emojis in the chat for Kaylin for shooting that up. Now, guys, we do have a call coming up in 45 minutes for that Sunday session. So I don't want to take too much more of your time, but I do want to bring on just another absolute amazing individual. Quick story how small this world is. I met her through a friend of a friend of a friend, and she, got into the same trading business I did. She came in, absolutely started smashing it, and we didn't really chat that much, but we were, somewhat in the same community. I was finally in a position that I could get away from the snow and the ice in Indiana, and I was put in a position to where I could also move my mom with me, my daughter with me, my wife that I met in the trading space came all the way from the UK, and I was like, I'm moving to Arizona. And I remembered I was like, I think this girl lives in Arizona, so I message her, and I'm like, hey, don't you live in Arizona? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, can you check out a house for me? And she's like, sure. And I sent her the address and she's like, dude, that's 2 minutes down the road from me. And I was like, holy crap. And so she went and checked it out for me. We moved out to AZ. Now we're best friends with her family. Her kids say that we're copying them because we like playing Uno just as much as they do. My wife and her go line dancing together. So not only did we like get to make money together, but we also like grew as a family and just like, created even more community and just growth. And so Peyton May, can you come on, give you a little bit of your story, and then also kind of tell the people what tomorrow is going to look like and what to expect on tonight's call? And then we'll just end this. I will post the recording in the group chat for anybody that had to wait outside the club because I didn't upgrade my Zoom, or the people that had to get off and miss it. I will post the recording. But Payme, the floor is yours.
Hey, hey, thank you for that, coach. You guys, I'm so excited that everybody is here tonight. And round of applause again for Ellie and Kaylin. This was actually the first time that I've heard Ellie's story. So major props to you, girl. That's amazing. And Kaylin, I'm so proud of you for stepping out of your comfort zone and speaking. That's amazing too. You guys, I've just recently been married a few months ago, but I was a single mom for 9, 10 years before that. And so I completely can resonate and relate to what Ellie was speaking about, having to do it all yourself, no help, like just figure it the F out and go. My journey was a little bit different than hers because I did stay home fully the whole time. And so I broke away from an abusive relationship, moved all the way across the country to live at my mom's house, 25 with two kids under the age of 2 and not a clue what I was going to do, but obviously I had to do something. So at that time, I had been introduced to the world of network marketing and jumped in full speed ahead, both feet. And I was like, I'm going to figure this out. And guys, I failed miserably for like 3 years, literally did not make a dollar, but kept telling everybody around me, I'm going to figure this out because I want to be home with my kids. I couldn't fathom the thought of sending my kids to a stranger I didn't know and going to work and all of the things. So I failed and failed and failed and refused to give up. And I was learning skills along the way, even though I wasn't seeing the fruits of my labor, right? And then around year 4, I finally things started to click. My grit started to kick in. The audience that I had been building over the first 3 years of failing, started to respond a little bit more. And I figured out how to make network marketing work. And so I was starting to make money online. And I was also doing various things, driving for Amazon Flex, delivering food, literally babysitting in my house for $5 an hour, like doing anything and everything that I could to pay for diapers, to do the things that I needed to do for my kids. We were not living lavishly, okay? And then I found out about trading maybe around 3-4 years ago. I had a friend who was younger than me, had more kids than me, and was, a freaking baller in trading, making, tens of thousands a month and living it up. And so I was like, I want to learn how to do that. So I paid her for coaching in a program and just really didn't understand any of it. And so I dabbled in it a little bit and didn't have any success. And I was like, okay, maybe this just isn't for me. So I spent about 2 years literally just jumping in and out of trading, not really fully committing, not really giving it my full time and attention. I just, assumed this is really hard. It's going to take forever to learn. Maybe this isn't for me, whatever the case may be. And then about a year and some change ago, a friend of mine told me about Akashex. And so I said, you know what? I really do want to learn how to trade. And maybe this program will be exactly what I need. And so I had decided at that point, I had already created success and an online income and business and things like that with affiliate marketing and network marketing. But what I really wanted at that stage in my life a year ago, I was dating my now husband very seriously. I was homeschooling both of my kids, and network marketing in and of itself was taking a lot of my time and a lot of my energy. And I felt like I was sacrificing a lot with my kids. And I didn't want my full soul income to be from sales. I wanted to branch out. I wanted to learn a skill that would allow me to make money on my own time with my own efforts and not be completely dependent on sales, even though I love sales and I will always do sales, and sales is super powerful. I just wanted something that was just for me, and something that I could control a little bit better. So I had decided in about January, end of January last year, this is the year that I'm going to focus solely on learning how to trade. And I don't care how hard it feels or how long it takes. This will be what I learn for the next year. I'm going to focus on that. And so I did. And Skylar kind of alluded to, there have been people that I have referred to Akashex and I have said, I'm learning this skill. This is who I'm learning it from. If you want to come learn with me, that would be, I think, super fun. And if not, that's okay too. And there are people that have joined me in Akashex who have had trading success much faster than I did. And for me, that was really exciting for 2 reasons. One, because I don't want to refer people who feel like they're struggling, right? But also just the fact that I can see people come in and have trading success and prove themselves wrong, because a lot of the times people come in and they'd say, yeah, I want to learn this with you, but I think it's going to be really complicated. And then they come in and they see success and they're like, holy shit, look what I'm doing, And I think that that's really exciting. And so for me, I did a lot of, mess around and find out kind of trading. I think trading in itself is very fun. And so I was very risky when I was trading. And so it did take me, 4 or 5 months in to actually start seeing results and get my own self under control. Trading is a lot about self-discipline. It's a lot about consistency. And so once I was able to really hone in on that and rein myself in and my own discipline and my own consistency in, then I started passing challenge on prop firm accounts. Then I started making money on funded accounts that I could withdraw. And so at that point, I was really excited. I was texting Skylar. I was like, oh my gosh, that's happening. And I'm able to, pay a bill with this, or I'm able to take my kids, we've gone on some really fun adventures this last year on the dime of my trading. And it's once you make, just like Ellie said, it's like once you make that first $5, you're like, okay, this is real. And then you have another trade where you make, $15 or $50 or $100. And it just like, once you can learn it on a very, very small level, you now know, okay, this is real, this is possible. And all it takes is a bigger contract size, more capital from a prop firm, whatever the case may be. And if I can make $50, I can make 500. If I can make 500, I can make 5,000. And so now it's really like, it just opens your mind to the world of possibilities. So now, with Akashx, I have the ability to learn trading, make money from trading, have more control over how much time I spend with my kids and what my schedule is going to look like. But then on the flip side of that, we also have, this business at a box where I'm able to tell people about this. I'm able to not only say trading is real and it's super fun and it's amazing and you can make a lot of money with it, once you learn it, but I'm also able to say we have a great community here that you can learn with. Like we all started from ground zero. We're all on the same journey, but at different points in our journey. And we're all able to help people and say, like, yeah, that was a lesson that I actually learned the hard way. Let me tell you what my experience was, or let me tell you how I overcame that struggle, or let me tell you which educator I'm seeing success with, or what strategy I'm using, or whatever the case may be. And so we're able to help everybody and we're able to have so much fun together and we're able to laugh with each other and we can take losses together and we can have really, really great days and take huge wins together. And it's just this whole different world from when I very, very first stepped into the world of trading and I felt like I was doing it alone and I felt like it was super complicated and no one was really there to answer my questions. And it felt unattainable at that point. And what Akashx did was make it feel attainable and fun and provide me a community where not only am I gaining confidence and success in my trading, but I'm confident sharing it with others. At this point, I have my mom who's been a full-time nurse for the last 20 years. She can barely attach a picture to an email without my help. She calls a regular picture a screenshot, like very technologically challenged. And she is trading with us. And she has days where she texts me and she's like, I just made $600 on one gold trade, and she's getting so excited about it. And I'm able to hand a demo account to my 9-year-old son and he'll hop into bed with me at 7 a.m. and be like, are we buying or are we selling, mom? And he's able to take a trade and make 1% on his demo account. And now he laughs at me, if I'm in a losing trade, he'll be like, you should have bought, I did. And like, it's just so much fun to know that I can learn this myself, but I can also bring in people, my friends, my family, my mom, my child, and they can learn with me. And I know that we can all have success with it. And it's really just a matter of just committing, just dedicating to the journey of learning and understanding that no, you're not going to be a millionaire overnight. But this is a true high level skill that I truly believe anyone can learn. And if you give yourself the time and the space to learn it, you will change your life. And one day you're going to have that financial freedom, that time freedom. You'll be able to pop open your computer, look at a chart for a few minutes, find a trade, execute it, and make, your week's salary in a few minutes on the charts. You know what I mean? And so that's, for me, that's the end goal. That's the end vision. And I'm so enjoying every step along the way, the ups and the downs. It's just really fun. And it's more fun to do that with a community with us. So that's my spiel. That's my story.
Absolute amazing, Peyton. I freaking love it. And And Peyton also didn't add in the fact that there were some threats along the way where I might have had to threaten her to stab her with a fork if she didn't stop over trading and stuff like that. So, it is a good place to have fun and just to be able to crack the jokes that we joke and stuff. Not, I wouldn't actually really ever stab Peyton with the fork, but the threat was there just to make sure that she was profitable. And that's something that I just absolutely love about this community, because I had mentors like that and stuff as well that just pushed me to do better. Right. So again, thank you for everybody that showed up tonight. Thank you so much for all the testimonials that we had. Ellie, Kaylin, Peyton. It was absolutely phenomenal to hear those stories and just to see that this were real people with real results. And obviously, past profits don't guarantee future results, but that doesn't mean that you can't have access to that same story or that same level of access that we had to be able to be profitable traders. So guys, here in just a second, I'm going to end this call and I'm going to drop another Zoom link in the WhatsApp chat. It's going to be in the announcements, and that is going to be to my boy Preston, Sunday night call. Now, Preston comes with a disclaimer, just like everything else. He is a ball of freaking energy. There is music, there is language that you might need earplugs for sometimes. It is all appropriate, right? But it's a fun environment. He's somebody that he is not the boring teacher. There's always something that I like to talk about, when we went into school and things like that. We always had that favorite teacher. P is a whole vibe, guys. Now, on this call, you're not going to know anything. So do steer away from asking questions and just be a fly on the wall and pay attention, right? None of it's going to make sense, but eventually it will. And the more reps that you put in and the more that you see him talk about the zone as the zone and how to do this and how to do that, it's not going to make sense the first time, but over time it will. So over this week, what he talks about Sunday night is going to make a lot more sense on Thursday morning. I do promise. So, guys, tomorrow, yeah, Peyton's raising her hand. So I think she probably wants to talk about that real quick. Let me pin her. Add
Yeah,
pin.
not to
Is that why you're
mention.
raising your hand? Yeah.
Yep.
Talking
Yep.
about tomorrow. Cool.
Okay, so tomorrow, guys, is going to be our onboarding call for the boot camp. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to create a demo account like what Skylar was talking about earlier. This is where it's play money, and you're going to learn, we're going to show you how to create your demo account, how to connect it to the platform that we actually trade and execute trades on. I'm going to show you how to enter a trade, how to enter a buy, how to enter a sell, the basics of setting a stop loss and a take profit and things like that. So that's going to be tomorrow. So between now and tomorrow, what I want you to do, if you haven't already, is reach out to the person who invited you to this bootcamp call. And I want you to say, hey, give me the link to the broker so that they can send you the link to the broker that we'll be using. And then tomorrow, all I want you to do tonight is create your account with them. Don't worry about anything else. Just register and create an account with them. Tomorrow, I will show you how to create the demo account and how to connect it to TradeLocker and how to take your first trade so that the rest of the boot camp you can practice with us.
Yeah, so whoever invited you to this call, guys, if you're new and you're not already a part of Akashex, or you're a part of the team and you are new, you're here for the 5-day free boot camp, whoever invited you, reach out to them and ask them for their broker link so that way you guys can go and create an account. What that looks like tonight is you're literally just going to go in, you're going to create a username, you're going to create a password. There is going to be what they call a KYC. That's know your customer. That's identity verification. So they are going to ask for you to verify that it's your identity. Outside of that, it's not going to cost you any money. You're not going to be investing any money or anything like that. You're just going to be creating an account to a brokerage that's going to allow you to do the demo account. Now, these brokerages, yes, you can fund real money in them to that and things like that, but please don't, not tonight. Let's show you how to do it with play Monopoly money first before you ever decide to take an investment and just click buttons. I would way rather make a mistake with fake money or your money than I do my own money. So we're going to do the demo account. You don't have to set the demo account up tonight. If you want to click around and click buttons and stuff like that, you're not going to break anything. So please do so, but be prepared tomorrow. Peyton will actually show you how to create that demo account, link that to TradeLocker, and then go from there. Time for that call tomorrow. I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that, guys. Please stay muted if you guys can. It's it's great if you guys do that because we are getting to that. So the time tomorrow, I know that for me and Erika, we're going to be traveling a lot tomorrow. So I was going to be the one doing it. Now Peyton's going to be doing that. I'm not sure exactly what time Peyton wants to do that tomorrow, but she will get the group prepared tonight, drop that in the announcements, and make sure that you guys are all prepared for that, guys. And again, if you can't make the call or the call doesn't work for you, that's okay, because we are going to be recording all of these and reposting them. So that way, you know, like the only difference between you being on a live call is and a video is the fact that you can actually ask questions live on the call and get it explained to you. So it is important if you guys can be there, but if not, and because something comes up, do understand that we're going to be recording these and putting them in the group for you. So that's what that looks like. And then tomorrow night on Monday, if you guys are ready to start like learning a little bit more, I've asked my buddy if he can do another live trading call tomorrow night so that we do get a little bit of access to trading tomorrow night as well. So there will be, as soon as I get those times and the links for that, we'll be dropping a trading call in there. His name's Noel. We call him No L's because he never takes L's. That's a lie. Everybody takes an L in trading. You will lose money. Just hopefully you make more money than you lose, right? But that's what we call him. It brings the hype. So that's also going to be something tomorrow. But again, guys, so here in just a second, I will drop Preston's Zoom link in there and the time to be on the call. So just get your notebooks ready, understand, and be ready to be confused. But that's okay. We're here. Ask questions in the group chat. I'm also getting messages where people are messaging the person that brought them in the group chat and asking them questions. Guys, use the group chat. Promise. Let's all be friends. Let's ask in the group chat so that way you might have a question and Bob might have a question. And if you ask the question in the group chat, Bob might get his question answered too. So it's important that we do that in the group chat setting so that way we're not all answering side questions. We can just do it collectively as a community. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for showing up and showing out. And I will see you guys on the Sunday session here in just about 24 minutes. Talk soon.